I overheard my fiancé talking to her friends about how she sees me, and I'm crushed. Hi, I'm Jason, and welcome to the only YouTube channel that gives advice not to the OP, but to all the peoples watching my video. Now, let's learn from others. We met in college and remained just casual acquaintances at the time. We both took a couple of the same classes and hung out a few times, stayed in contact, but never too terribly close. We both graduated, and a few years later, we reconnected after randomly running into each other after we both unknowingly moved to the same city. It was around that time that my career really took off. A few senior engineers from my company recruited me for a startup they had been working on. We got a few big clients and VC funding pretty early on, so within a few years, the money really started to roll in. She and I started dating, and honestly, up until now, I've been nothing but happy. Things were going great, and I felt like I was really close to her. I've been nothing but doting and appreciative of her. This all began to shift last week when I overheard her talking to her friends about how she views me. I had planned to work later than usual, but came home early with a stomach ache and went to lie on the bed. I must have fallen asleep for about 2 hours, but when I woke up, I could hear her in the living room with some of her friends while they were drinking. The conversation was pretty casual until they started talking about the wedding and our relationship in general. Through the laughter, she went on to describe how she had landed herself the perfect rich chump, how she basically controlled me, and how I would give her the life she always wanted. I was just a tool for her to use. Her friends thought it was hysterical and egged her on. I know she was drinking, and I know maybe she was joking, but for me, the trust is gone. I don't feel like I can still marry her when I've heard in her own words that she sees me this way. When she later went into the bedroom, she seemed surprised to see me, but she also assumed I had been asleep. I haven't confronted her yet, and I'm just dreading canceling the wedding. Now, we have 2 updates after this, but let's think about this for a moment. You're in a nice, loving relationship that you think is solid. Then you come home and hear your significant other talking about they're just using you for your resources. Now, the first red flag would probably be she only got with you after you started working and getting some money in your new city. Now, that doesn't automatically mean that you should be on your guard, but your antenna should at least be up, watching out for signs of betrayal or usage of your resources. But you've known this girl for several years, ever since college. So your guard is kind of down and you're thinking, I can make this work. We've known each other. She's a good, solid person, and this is going to be great. Unfortunately, life doesn't always work out that way. Now, if you have a lot of resources, be it guy or girl, you really need to make sure that the people you date, the people you marry, the people you have around you are not just using you for those resources. There's a lot of people out there that will pretend to be your friends, pretend to be in love with you, just to get a crack at what you have. So he comes home and hears from his own ears that his fiancée, soon-to-be wife, is actually just using him for his money. And not only that, but she's callous about it. She's telling all her friends about it, and they're all laughing. The first thing you need to do is break up, for sure. The wedding's off, you can't move forward. There's no way you need to build a life with someone like this, because eventually they will take all your money and leave you. Or, God forbid, you actually have something bad happen to you and you can't make as much money as you used to. They'll probably leave you too. The only thing we need to think about now is how we're going to leave. Let's get to the updates and see what he does. Sorry it took me a couple of weeks to post an update, but it's been really hectic. I confronted her a couple of days after my initial post. I wanted to see if she would be honest, if there was even a chance of working this out. So, I initially didn't allow her to know I personally overheard her. I told her, I heard a rumor that she had been talking about me that way. She pressed me for a name, but after I refused to give her one, she flat out told me repeatedly that I had been lied to, that she would never talk to me that way. I then told her I personally overheard her. Then, her entire demeanor changed. I think she hadn't considered that I'd been awake when she had her friends over, or that this was such a common topic of conversation that she didn't know exactly which specific conversation I had heard rumors of. I told her I was calling off the wedding. Then she started crying. And I genuinely felt bad, but at the same time, I can't really trust her anymore. She left and I have no idea where she went, but I got a few calls from her friends later that night and the next morning. They were the same friends I overheard earlier, so I just never answered. Her dad randomly showed up that afternoon and seemed surprised at what I said. She hadn't given him a detailed reason for why I was calling off the wedding, just that she had lost my trust. He didn't have much to say after I told him, but said I should try to work things out. She came back the next day, and I still have no idea where she went, nor do I really care. I was blunt and told her she would need to find a new place somewhat soon. Since then, I've been spending as little time as possible home, and she seems to be gradually removing some of her smaller personal items. It's a mess, and she keeps trying to salvage things, and when that fails, the crying starts. I'm glad I found out sooner rather than later. Indeed, my man, indeed. It's always much better to find out sooner rather than later. Wow. I really feel sorry for this guy, because personally, I would probably be out as soon as I could. I mean, you heard it from her own mouth, what she was saying about you, what she thought about you. And obviously, this sort of behavior and talk wasn't new because her friends just laughed and gaggled and, went about their day. None of them was shocked that this was her plan. So either she's done this before or she had talked about doing this with you. She found out you had some money and she got with you. No bueno. But, the route that he took, I get it. Because you don't want to have any sort of leftover lingering feelings about if you made the right choice. So, he gives her another shot. Well, how did that turn out? Not good. She still tried to lie, which just compounds the incident. Lets you know there's really no salvaging this relationship and that it was actually already over, then you're just the last one to find out. If you're getting married for love, you can't be married to someone who's doing it for your resources. That's not going to work out well for you in the end. But after hearing something like this, there's really only one thing for you to do, and that's leave. It's all about how you're going to do it and how you're going to deal with the aftermath of something like this. So let's see what he does. My ex and one of her male friends showed up with a U-Haul to get the last of her stuff the weekend after my last post. I didn't trust their chemistry together, but I also didn't really care. I didn't even bother to learn if she has a new lease or if she's staying with him. She thankfully left my ring behind, but I don't know what to even do with it. It cost me $15,000 retail, but the resale looks like a fraction of the original cost. I also have a lot of work to do to recoup my deposits for the venue, caterer, and the planner. Her mom called me the night after she left, but I didn't answer. I honestly didn't want to hear it. I've always had a great relationship with her, but she sounds so much like her daughter that I didn't know if I could take that conversation. I've had a really difficult time emotionally over the last month and a half dealing with this. I've always been a casual drinker, but lately I've been avoiding going home and drinking with old friends far more consistently to avoid having to deal with this fallout. I know it's not healthy, but it's all I could do to not fall apart completely. Some of that spilled over into my work, and I think the other founders noticed. I lead a small DevOps team and do a ton of technical work myself. Because of this, my mistakes are really easy to notice since they largely manifest in infrastructure breakage, CI/CD outages, and downtime in key applications. I don't know how exactly they learned what happened, but after I mentioned I wouldn't be going to see my family during Thanksgiving, the CTO sent me a text asking me if I was home, then showing up with the CEO 30 minutes later that night before Thanksgiving. The CTO had apparently learned what happened a few days before, and he, along with his wife, has spent most of the day basically making me a feast. It was incredible. Beef bourguignon, porchetta, potato salad, lasagna, deviled eggs, duck roast, to say the least. The CEO brought an expensive bottle of whiskey and some high-end Japanese A5 steaks. I was brought to tears. I had never been shown this much love and appreciation in my entire life. I will never forget it. We basically just drank whiskey, ate food, and talked for hours. They gave me the rest of the year off and asked me to just make sure I delegated the most time-sensitive work. I'm not even sure of what I'm going to do, but I'm thinking of vacationing in Ireland for a few weeks. Never mind, I have frozen leftovers for weeks. Now, I want to point out that he often talks about how he doesn't feel anything anymore. If you're in a situation like this, that is not unexpected. But what you're feeling is not yourself getting over it, but the numbness, the shock to your system that your body's trying to protect you from and your mental's trying to protect you from. But really, you're going to have to deal with that at some point. That's why it's very, very important for you to have a great support system. Whether that means your friends, your family, someone you work with, or, getting professional help. You need to do something. You can't just, sit on it and hope it goes away or think that numbness is going to last forever. Because when that shock wears off, all of those emotions, those feelings are going to hit you. And it's how you deal with that at that moment that's going to define you. He was already leaning to self-soothing with alcohol, which is not the solution. Drugs, alcohol, going out partying, having a whole bunch of, wanton sex out there with random partners. Now, they may make you feel good at the moment, but all you're doing is pushing the ball down the road to the point where you're going to have to deal with it at some point. The more you push it down, the more you try to postpone something like that, you may have to deal with it, and it may be harder to deal with it later on because you have never actually addressed the hurt, the pain, and the emotional damage that something like this can cause. It's not a physical infidelity, but it's an emotional infidelity to know that someone is using you just for X, whether it's money, sex, whatever, resources, connections, that they're not there for you. That's a hard thing to have to deal with. And as you can see, whether it be people at work or your extended family, it can make all the difference in the world. Fortunately, he had some really understanding coworkers and some supervisors and owners who were compassionate. And even though he didn't tell them, they knew that there was something wrong and they took it upon themselves to help him out. And that's the kind of support system you want to have in your life. If you don't have the proper support system in place, what can happen is the people around you can encourage you to make bad decisions. They could always say, let's go out, let's party, let's do this drug, let's drink to excess, let's do this, let's do that. And that's not going to solve your problems. And you might not even know that people like this can lead you down that path because it feels like they care for me. They're really looking out for me. But in reality, they're only being detrimental to your recovery. And these people gave him some time off. They brought him some food, which is always great. We all like food. And they allowed him to get some things off of his chest and give him the time and space he needed to heal. Now, hopefully, you never find yourself in a situation like this. But if you do, just remember, you've already learned from others. Have a good night. Conversation flow.